You kind of mentioned that while you have didactic training, and I had didactic training, a lot of the learning does come from spending time individually. How would you recommend to somebody that doesn't have a built-in network like you and I do, where because of some of the things that we've done or the places that we've put, because by the way, none of us were born with this. We put ourselves in position to get these. What would you tell somebody that wants to go learn and see how others are doing? What's the best way to approach someone else about coming to watch them, whether that's in your market or, whether you fly somewhere to do it?
I think you just have to figure out how to bring value to the other person, whether it's just showing up and bringing the team, at Starbucks, or figuring out what's on the other guy's plate that you can maybe take off of it. I mean, there's a million things going on at the office all the time. And the last thing someone needs is, hey, can I come in and just like hang out and watch and then pick your brain? I mean, I get it because I was in the same place. And so when people ask me that, people come out to the office all the time and just hang out and watch surgery. But it's one of those things where it's like, realistically, if you want to build a little bit of a relationship and I guess you could call it like a mentorship, just try to figure out how to make life easier for the other person. And as opposed to kind of, hey, I want to show up and I want to kind of like gain from you and then you leave. That's not necessarily always a feel good. So researching about the person, letting them know that you think that they're like the real deal and why you really want to spend time with them. Pump their ego a little bit.
I was about to say that.
And then
unless you're coming to T-Bone's office, he doesn't need that.
He doesn't need that. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, along the same lines, because I'm always, for the most part, I'm very happy to have people come and watch. And what happens for me is somebody will say, hey, I want to come. And then they'll say, do you work Fridays? I'm like, no. And I've actually had somebody say, can you work a Friday? And I'm like, no, I cannot. I worked hard not to have to work Fridays. And I have a second job. So I would always say, make it easy for somebody. In fact, I'll argue there are hidden gems that are so good at what they do. I'm thinking of a dentist friend of mine, Mark Bowman in Greenville, North Carolina, who is so good at what he does, but yet so few people have, quote unquote, heard of them because they're not on social media. They're not out there touting themselves. Sometimes they need to be pushed by somebody like me. I want to go learn soft tissue grafting from Mark. And, I just need to get on the phone and make it easy for them. Like you said, say, hey, I'll show up when you tell me to show up. I'll bring something for you and your team. I'm going to make sure you look good. I'm going to be quiet and not get in the way. Just enough to break that ice. And then once you get there, you can just do what you want to do. But I think sometimes it's getting over that fear, even as mentors, that fear of having somebody else come watch you, like, hey, it's going to be a disruption. And I think just addressing those things like, hey, I'm not here to maybe be a disruption. If something happens, I can step out of the room. You tell me when to be there, what time to be there, and I'll make it as unobtrusive as possible. And I think that goes a long way because otherwise people think because the day is busy enough as it is. The last thing you really mentally want is, oh my God, I got somebody else I got to entertain while they're here.
Right.
And so that would be my advice to kind of build on what you were talking about there.